As the 1960s motored on towards the dawn of a new decade, Britain sought a new, affordable family car. The Mini had done its thing, but now it was time for Ford's Escort. Rolling off the production line for the first time in 1968, more than 2 million of these cars were sold in 6 years. And if it went down well on the road, it went down a storm on the stage. Replacing the Ford Anglia on the road and the Cortina GT on the stage, this was the beginning of an Escort revolution. Ian Gwynn is a man who knows the Mark I Escort inside out. His BGM Sport firm has restored some of the world's finest examples, including Dirtfish owner Steve Rimmer's stunning ex-Roger Clark RS 1600. For the last 2 years, Ian and his team have been busy with a ground-up rebuild on a 52-year-old road car. We visited BGM Sport to find out what made and what makes these cars so special. So, Ian, 52 years old. She's not looking 52 years old to me.
Not anymore, no.
No. So when did this car first come into your hands?
This came here just over 2 years ago.
Right.
We did a restoration for Sean, who owns this, on a Mark II RS 1800.
Yeah.
He'd had this for some time, and when he bought it, it actually looked like quite a nice car.
Yeah.
But then he gave it to somebody else before us, and they completely stripped it and started to do the work process on it, and unfortunately that didn't work out. We literally had to just treat it as a blank canvas, start again. We had a load of chassis shell work to do on the car before we could then even get involved in thinking about getting it painted in maize yellow. And then
I think you'll find it says Dirtfish orange.
Well, you can call it Dirtfish orange. I mean, it's not quite the same shade.
So chassis and shell work, what does that actually mean?
So under a normal, let's take this car, normal restoration, everything completely stripped off the chassis. That then gives you a bit of an idea of what your task is, if you like, to make the body good again. It then goes for sandblasting. So we just localise, areas of sandblasting so we can get at the floor pans and the chassis, etc., etc. It is literally just getting all the paint off, and any underseal or whatever that's on there gets burnt off at the same time. And then you're then looking at an absolutely bare shell.
Do you not kind of tear your hair out and think, crikey, the restoration process is so long?
Yeah, this one, in theory they're quite simple. They're a Mark I Escort with a BDA engine in. This one was a bit more tricky because everything that came with it, literally, I mean, you have to rebuild everything, but we needed to source a lot of new parts for this.
Right.
And they are getting more tricky now.
What did you need to buy that was new, and what was tricky to get hold of?
I'll give you a very simple example. A Mark I Escort hazard light switch.
Really?
Really difficult to get hold of. And just little bits of trim, details is very, very, very difficult to get hold of.
So how have you made it better? Just in the parts you
Just in the quality of the build.
Yeah.
And obviously, 50 years on, a lot of the parts you can buy today are of much better quality.
Yeah. And the seats are...
They've all been, everything, all the trim, everything has all been retrimmed. It's lovely, isn't it?
It is. That's incredible.
That's as far back as the seat goes. So,
not the most comfortable of driving positions, was it?
Not really, no.
And not a huge amount of legroom in the back seat. And this is a rebuilt BDA engine.
Yeah, original. It's an original engine that's been rebuilt.
That's 1600.
Yep.
And so what we're looking at
136 horsepower on the rolling road.
Which, that's a lot.
Yeah.
52 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's plenty, isn't it?
Yeah, for a car that's quite lightweight.
But the key thing is, it's quite, it's very drivable.
Yeah.
It's not cammy or anything. It's a very basic, BD series engine that's got a pair of Webbers on it for homologation.
So what was it that made this such a good base for a rally car?
Oh, I think it's the size of it. It's relatively small in comparison to a modern day family saloon.
Yeah.
They're quite light. Good
Simple.
wheelbase. Simple. Absolutely simple. Yeah.
Back in those days, there was not a lot of
absolutely.
technology needed. Also,
No.
a beefy engine and rear wheel drive.
Yeah, beefy engine, rear wheel drive. Decent gearbox, and obviously the rally car went to the ZF 5-speed gearbox.
I think one of this car's greatest triumphs was winning the London to Mexico World Cup rally in 1970, I think it was.
I think it was, 70,
that's testament, isn't it, to how bulletproof these cars were.
Certainly back then on those longer events, keeping cars simple and durable and give them longevity, an engine, the BDA engine that's probably detuned quite a lot to do an event like that, just, to keep the stress out of it. It was just an iconic car. I grew up, I'm sure like you did, used to watch these being driven by all the great, drivers of the day, and obviously then the Mark II evolved from this.
But you've driven, obviously, Steve Rimmer owns Dirtfish, he owns an ex-Roger Clark RS 1600.
Correct.
What's that like to drive? We saw you having some fun in it this morning.
Amazing.
Is it?
Yeah, it just gives you, it's a totally different feeling to driving this road car. This is a sedate road car, and to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't want to drive this hard anywhere.
No.
Because it's just beautiful, and you just wouldn't want to mark it. The rally car it's a rally car, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the bigger skids you can have in it, and when
That's
you
what
get
it's
it
made
sliding and you see the rev counter, edging right up to 8,000 or whatever RPM, and you look in the mirror and it's just smoke in the rear. It's what's not to like? It's lovely, absolutely lovely.
How involved personally, Ian, are you in the rebuild and refurbishment of these cars?
Very much in the background now. It's my business. I deal with the customers, I deal with the suppliers, and to actually, for me to get hands-on, the other side of the business is way too busy now.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in you employ the right people to come and do all these wonderful cars that you see here, and I'm so lucky that I've got a fabulous team of people that can produce cars like this, and this is one of many.
Yeah, it is. It's absolute testament to BGM Sport, isn't it? It is a beautiful, beautiful car. If I'd invested my money in one of these things, I'd be on the phone every day. I'd be wanting to know, when can I come and collect it? How do you deal with that side of things?
It's done when it's done. Look behind you, David. I have actually pointed a couple of customers towards
in the direction of that.
Any restoration, whether it's on a rally car, road cars, probably a bit more tricky, to be fair, because the detail has to be absolutely perfect for a road car.
Yeah.
With a rally car, you have a little bit more poetic license. You know, they're not mass produced.
Yeah.
And in theory, they should all be the same, but some minor
There were
details.
little nuances with them, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's a 2-year process.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to learn that. The days of us thinking we could turn this around in 6 months are long gone.
Yeah. Like you say, it was the hazard warning lights switch.
Yeah.
Where do you get those from?
Exactly.
There's so many parts of these cars. If your D fell off, where do you get it from?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we have a kind of specific set of suppliers that we go to first.
Yeah.
If they haven't got, they're always helpful in trying to find, or we just search ourselves.
Yeah. The new owner, Sean, is a very lucky guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Sean is he is a lucky guy, but people like Sean and many of our other customers, they really appreciate the detail and the effort we go to. He hasn't seen the car. He's seen it, I think, twice during the process over a couple of years, and he hasn't seen the car with it being anywhere near finished. I think the last time he probably saw it had just been a pretty much a painted
Wow.
body shell and panel. So, you know, he hasn't seen it. What I'm good at doing is keeping in touch with it, you know, and I'll go around just ping photos and WhatsApp them so they've got photos as a, you know, as an update. And that's a really good way to do it. You know, a lot of these people are very, very busy.
Yes.
And you try and call them in the day. They're running their own businesses and it's quite hard to get hold of them. So photos tell a million stories.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's it. That is a 52-year-old Mark 1 Escort. And all that remains to be said is, Sean, you're a very lucky boy.